What's up, guys? It's John Kill 3D, and let's talk about Star Wars for a minute. The Last Jedi has come out, and I reviewed it, but after I reviewed it, and it's funny how at first the movie was getting tons and tons of praise, and then it's like in one night, all of a sudden it's being hated. It's only being hated by those who cannot accept that their precious EU, though the EU had great stories and great characters of their own, there was too many plot holes, convoluted storylines that would not have worked well on the screen. Now, maybe if they were done properly back then by George Lucas, if he wanted to continue, he probably could have brought Heir to the Empire, but things didn't pan out that way. You have to make compromises. And all the arguments about The Last Jedi, I'm watching them being easily broken in breakdown videos. All these arguments are people are making of the movie, that the things they hated. There's only two things I can agree with with the criticisms. One, I hate the Canto Biden scene, and it should have been cut out, and the supposed death of Captain Phasma, which, if she could survive the fucking Starkiller base explosion, then I'm pretty sure she can survive falling through a damn floor. So I doubt she's dead. Maybe she'll come back. But people now who, you have original trilogy fans, and you have the people that only like all 6 movies, but then you have people in the middle that are caught, that just, they want originality from the films. And I'm sorry, The Last Jedi is the most original of the Star Wars films. I heard someone say on Facebook, first you want to bitch that The Force Awakens is too much like the other films. Oh, but then you want to bitch that The Last Jedi is so different from the other films. Motherfuckers, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. The Last Jedi storyline, the movie itself, and this new trilogy that's coming, like from Force Awakens all the way to whatever Episode 9 is going to be, I commend Rian Johnson for having the balls to do what he did in this film. Twists, turns, unpredictability. Where the other films, though we love them, they were pretty predictable. Okay, with some of the things they had done. You know, tell me what was unpredictable about the other films besides the twist that Darth Vader is Luke's father. I bet you can't. I bet you can't come up with any other twists and plot lines or secrets. Okay? Now, I'm not gonna say that the EU was all bad. The EU was not bad at all, actually. When I grew up, all the way from elementary school up until the end of middle school, I read quite a few of the EU books, and I have my personal favorites. I love the Death Troopers novel. I love Red Harvest. I like the Jedi Academy books. But then the more and more I read them, except for the Death Troopers and Red Harvest, because those were isolated stories, they didn't have to connect to everything like the other Star Wars movies. Like the other Star Wars books, the EU books, they were restricted to following the storyline and barely broke away to do their own things. They all had to tie in to the series. But another great, I'm going to give the EU some praise on a couple things, though. Some of the stories were great. The ones that weren't convoluted were great. But the most thing that they did, or the best thing that they did in my opinion, was their video games. The EU has brought us some pretty damn good video games. You know, The Force Unleashed was one of them, which a lot of people would say, why? No, it was because it lets you do OG, over-the-top nonsense with the Force. The comic book storylines as well were pretty damn good. I enjoyed them. The best storyline to me from the comics was, I forgot the name of it, but I'm going to describe the scenes, was with, I think it was with the Imperial Knights and Cade Skywalker, the next generation of Skywalker, had to go up against Darth Krayt, who, Darth Krayt, though he was a powerful and cool character, his character broke like broke the Star Wars lore and what he can do. His powers were ridiculous. The Yuuzhan Vong War was just way out of hand. The Yuuzhan Vong, in my opinion, when that storyline with the war with them, let's be honest, those villains didn't even look like they belonged in Star Wars. They looked like something straight out of Star Trek. My favorite games from this EU, besides Unleashed, was the Jedi Academy games. Those were really, really good. Jedi Academy, I will never deny. And the Knights of the Old Republic games, which I currently still play right now. I like playing the Knights of the Old Republic. But people are saying, oh, Disney destroyed the Old Republic. Not really, because right now they're trying to cover the stuff after the original trilogy. Give them time. Maybe they will, or it's already seeming like they're sowing the seeds to do the original trilogy. And if they do not the original trilogy, they're sowing the seeds for... They could do an Old Republic trilogy, but imagine how hard it would be to do an Old Republic trilogy. There's so many characters, and if you don't put in the characters that fans want, they're going to bitch and complain if you focus on the characters they don't want. Or if you create new characters, you risk alienating. Okay? And they probably want to do stories that break away from the tradition, and people are just so close-minded, and they don't want originality. They want, okay, this is how I see it. Fans want a Star Wars movie that rehash, so they can bitch and say that it rehashes, but when you get originality, you still want to bitch and complain that you have originality. It's not going to work like that. I'm sorry. It will not work like that. Either deal with it, or lose that title of saying you're a true Star Wars fan, because you're not. Okay? You're not if you want to bitch about every little fucking thing. Because I know a guy named Robert Storms, and if you can check out his channel, he's doing videos that's breaking down people's arguments and breaking, like literally tearing apart the complaints people are making. Like, he is ripping them to shreds. And it's hilarious because it just shows how ignorant that some of the fans can be. Star Wars fans are the most powerful community out there of fans. But then you have the ones, it's really like the Sith and the Jedi. You have two sides, and the people that are caught in the middle, they get caught in the backlash of all this. So it's ridiculous. I mean, why can't new fans, or even some original fans, give the new ones a chance? They just judge it with baseless accusations, and even though they have accusations, their accusations are very weak and very poor. Go and look at any Star Wars review, and with all respects to Angry Joe as well, I love his channel, I love his work, but his top reasons of why The Last Jedi, those reasons can be torn apart very, very fast. And he's one to create strong arguments, but those arguments were not strong at all. They were very weak and abysmal. They can just be taken apart fast. So I'm not going to do a non-spoiler review because I don't spoil shit on my channel. You want to go see spoilers, go see it on someone's channel for the film. But the arguments they bring up, they're just weak and can be easily defeated. And if anybody comes to me with saying that they can defend the reasons the people are complaining about, I can easily tear those arguments apart in 2 seconds. I've already slowly begun to do it on Facebook, arguing with other people about the film, and I've gained more support there than negatives. Seriously, if Disney keeps doing this correctly with all their stories, that their stories are not convoluted, because none of their stories have been convoluted, everything makes sense, everything ties together well, then I'm sorry to say, the official canon of Star Wars is going to slowly surpass the EU, and The Last Jedi is the step in the right direction to surpassing the EU. It can be done. It's already slowly to be done. The seeds are there, and basically, all those arguments, they're just going to crumble. They're going to crumble, fall, and burn. So, that's all much I have to say about these freaking arguments. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below.